All right. Hello, everyone. In my Elevate Your Joy reading today, I was guided to use these cards that are the Divine Abundance cards. So that is what we're using today. I'm going to split them into 3 piles, and you're going to pick your pile, and then we'll see what comes, okay? Here we go. I'm going to open the energy, let you pick your pile. Here we go. All right, if you haven't picked your pile, you can pause the video and do so. But I am going to get started with the first group. So, here we go. Group number 1. Let's see what they want to say to you with these Divine Abundance cards today. Whoa, okay, one just came out. Extraordinary. Oh, look at the peacock. The peacock has a special meaning for me. It means that you need to be confident in your abilities, in your gifts, in yourself, okay? It says, there's a wild and impetuous uniqueness to you that deserves to be honored. You're extraordinary. This is such a gorgeous card and such a gorgeous message. You are extraordinary. There's a wild and impetuous uniqueness to you that deserves to be honored. Okay? So, yeah, that's awesome. And they're wanting me to clarify the word impetuous, so let's look at that, because we want to know what exactly they really want us to honor within ourselves, because maybe some people are telling you not to honor it, right? And impetuous, the definitions that are coming up, the first definitions that are coming up is, it's almost impulsive. It's like impetuous is acting or done quickly, you know, moving forcefully or rapidly. So there's an impetuousness to you, an impetuous uniqueness to you that deserves to be honored. So if you've been told that you're wrong for being impetuous at times, that's what they want you to look at, okay? So it has to do with doing things on the spur of the moment, okay? Acting on the spur of the moment. Acting on your gut feeling is what I'm hearing, okay? So some of the synonyms of impetuous are adventurous, fearless, brazen, okay? So you may have been made wrong for this at times in your life, you know, but some of these synonyms are amazing. Some of them are not so amazing, but some of them are amazing. Like heroical, bold, adventuresome, you know, hardy, undauntable, you know, what else here? Courageous, daring, spirited, wild, lion-hearted. Okay? So that is what they want you to honor in yourself. Okay? They really want you to honor it in yourself. You are extraordinary, and you should be confident in who you are. They want you to have to raise your self-esteem in some way. That's what the peacock says to me. That's the message the peacock gives to me. To raise your self-esteem, to raise your confidence, to have a little bit, like in this spiritual work, we often try to get rid of our ego, right? We want to get rid of our ego, and that's a, you know, that's a valuable thing to do. You don't want to be an egomaniac. You don't want to be a narcissist, you know, but if you are, that's okay too, you know, but we need to have some confidence and self-esteem. And that's what this card is addressing. That's a beautiful card. I'm so in love with that card right now. Okay, here's the next one. Ooh, deepening. Look at that cat. That looks like my cat. I had a cat. She lived to be 23 years old. Her name was Valentine. And this cat looks like her. Okay, deepening. Once you're on earth for enough lifetimes, your soul will begin to long for non-grasping detachment and surrender. They bring the peace of God. Okay, so non-grasping detachment, and surrender. They bring the peace of God. That is what your soul is longing for right now. You've been on this earth for enough lifetimes that this is where you're at. That's what they're telling you, okay? So there's a deepening of experience here that's happening for you in this lifetime, okay? A deepening of your connection to your soul and to Source is what I'm hearing, okay? You can call Source God, you can call it whatever you want. You know, there's lots of names for that. Okay, expansiveness. All right, expansiveness. Eternity is far more creative than the rigid, constrained, and exhausted ego. So this is the ego that we're trying to shed, the rigid, constrained ego that is exhausted from trying to control things, right? So that's why non-grasping, detachment, and surrender is so important. It's not so much that you need to get rid of your ego altogether, just the rigid, constrained ego that is grasping, attached, and not surrendering to what is and wanting to control what is what that work is all about, right? So the impetuous self is actually a gift that they're saying. That's what they're saying here. So eternity is far more creative than the ego, the rigid, constrained ego. And you're there, you're here. That's what they're telling you. You're here in that place, okay? So you need to honor your extraordinary uniqueness, impetuous uniqueness, you know, wild and impetuous uniqueness. You need to recognize that your soul, you're having a deeper experience in this lifetime than you've had in other lifetimes, and your soul is longing for to let go and to surrender to what is, so that you can live and experience the peace of God. Okay, that this will bring you to a place of expansiveness where you'll be far more creative than you've ever been. Okay, and then we have the clearing came out as well. As true offering arises, it becomes easy to let go. You start to trust that more will always arrive. You shift from mine to God's. Such freedom. Ugh, what a beautiful reading. So this is the path that you're on, and this is the path to your abundance, is what I'm hearing. And I just said today that, you know, the way I live my life now, because I've learned this in my lifetime, is that if something doesn't work out for me, if I don't get what I want, I say, oh, well, something better must be coming. And that's what this is saying. As true offering arises, it becomes easy to let go. You let go of what you don't get. You start to trust that more will always arrive. And I have the cutest story about that, actually. This is, you know, I was working in Alberta on a ranch as a server, as a waitress, bartender. And the people that owned it were lovely, and they had lovely children. And one day the 3 children, and they were young, like 10, 8, and maybe 3. And they were in the restaurant area. Actually, they were in the lounge, but it was during the day, and, you know, it was fine. But so they were in the lounge area, and I was there working. And so there were 3 of them. And the one little girl who was 8, and then the one little girl who was 2, and the brother who was 10. So they were having chips, and they were eating chips. And, you know, as siblings do, the little girl had her bag of chips and the others had theirs. And then when the older brother, finished his bag of chips, he asked the little girl if he could have some of her chips. And so she said yes, but then he ate he ate all of them. And so she was super upset because her brother ate all her chips. And her wise older sister said to her, but I don't want to say her name. Well, I can say her name. You guys don't know her anyways or anything. So the wise older sister said, Daisy, there's always more chips. Don't be upset. There's always more chips. And because that was very true, I mean, they lived at the ranch, they owned the ranch, and there were more chips in the store that they could go and get, right? So that was a very, you know, and I recognized that. I smiled when Kateri said that to Daisy, because I thought, wow, she's so wise, and she's growing up with an abundance consciousness, and isn't that beautiful, right? Instead of a lack consciousness, and she's teaching her little sister to have the abundance consciousness and not the lack consciousness. And I just thought that was so beautiful, and I never forget that. And it hit me, and it really helped me shift as well. This 8-year-old little girl with all her wisdom of the world telling us there's always more chips, right? So I'm going to leave you with that story. That's where I'm going to end it today. But this is your path to abundance that you are on. You're firmly on. Okay? Have a lovely day. Bye-bye for now. Okay, group number 2. Seems like group number 2 always has like the least amount of cards. Anyways, group number 2, what do they want to say to you about your prosperity and abundance? Your path of abundance is what I'm picking up from group number 1. The path of abundance that you're on. That's what they want to say. Okay, this card wants to come out. Oh, interesting. Okay. We'll get to that in a second. We're going to get more cards. Okay. This card, these two want to come out. Okay. Ooh, you get the Divine Abundance card. Wow. Okay, you have some really cool cards coming out. I feel like there's one more, because this is a foundation building exercise. And this is the path of your abundance, and building the foundation for that is what I'm hearing. Okay. This card wants to come. Oh, beautiful. Okay. So the first card says delusion. And it says, intention without surrender can be a fast path to delusion. Now, I feel like this is continuation of the first group because of this surrender being so important. You can watch the first group if you're interested in that. But the intention without surrender is a fast path to delusions. They want to remind you, surrender is so important on your path to abundance. Awakening. Oh, my Lord, wake me from life as a spiritual sheep. May I hear you through my own instincts and common sense. So this is telling you that you need to rely on your own instincts and common sense. Your path is your path. It's no one else's, and no one can lead you down your path. You are not a sheep that can be led down any path by anyone, not even the spiritual gurus and everybody around. Your awakening is your awakening. Your path is your path. And you need to hear the spirit, the source, through your own instincts and common sense, okay? And look at that. This will lead you to your abundance, divine abundance. You are born to align with love's will. No wonder we have the love card next. Follow the Tao and serve something beyond the ego. Learn to be abundance, not chase it. That's interesting. Learn to be abundance and not chase it. You were born to align with love's will. Serve something beyond the ego. Learn to be abundance, not chase it. And then the love card. Divine source is the idea that no person, place, or thing is your salvation. Only love itself. So when you surrender to love's will, and you'll know what love's will wants for you by following your own instincts and your own common sense, you will be on the path to your abundance. That is what this is saying very, very clearly. So this is telling you very clearly, surrender to love's will, follow your own instincts and common sense, and you will learn to be abundance rather than chasing it. All right? It's very simple. It's very clear. They want me to end it there. Go have a beautiful day now. Bye-bye. All right, group number 3. What do they want to say to you? What we've realized is this is about your path to abundance. That's what this reading is about today. So let's see. What do they want to say to group number 3? What do you want to say to group number 3? What does group number 3 want to say to themselves about their path to abundance? Here we go. They want me to do it differently for you. They want me to cut the cards, so I'm cutting the cards and get the 4 cards because I know that it's 4 cards now. True offering. Okay. We'll look at reframe. Ooh, beautiful. Guidance. And sacrifice. Interesting. Okay. Let's read them one at a time and see what they say. True offering takes what can be an unbearable cross and returns it to love. So what this is saying to me is any unbearable cross you are carrying right now, return it to love. Offer it to love. Offer the cross that you are bearing right now that is unbearable for you to bear to love. Give it up to love. Okay? Reframe. This is happening for me, not to me. So this cross, this unbearable cross is happening for you, not to you. And it's to help you surrender and give it to love. Okay? Guidance. When you make divine intelligence your foundation, you finally have a fixed star to follow. So this is the divine intelligence that they want you to make your foundation, right? There is no cross that you have to bear alone. You can give it to God. You can give it to love. And this cross isn't happening to you. It is happening for you, to teach you how to give your unbearable cross to love, to source, to God, to whatever you want to call it. Okay? When you make that divine intelligence your foundation, you finally have a fixed star to follow. There is nothing that you are meant to carry on your own. You are always allowed to return it to love and understand that it's happening for you, not to you. Okay? And then this card, sacrifice. Sometimes surrender is painful. That's what we're talking about here, right? God's cutting away all that needs to go. Illusions, obsessions, addictions. It's a sacrifice to love. True offering takes what can be an unbearable cross and returns it to love. Sacrifice your illusions, your obsessions, and your addictions to love. Make it an offering to love. You know, an offering is a sacrifice. So give it to love. Give it to source. Give it to God, whatever you call it. Here they're calling it love. Okay? These 2 cards are on the end. And this is telling you, reframe. This is happening for me, not to me. Make this the foundation, this divine intelligence that it is happening for you, not to you. Make that the foundation, and you will have a fixed star to follow. If you live your life like this, and you remember that any cross that you are finding unbearable, surrender it. Sacrifice it to love. Return it to love. Make it an offering to love. They know it can be painful, you know, but when God cuts away all that needs to go, it can be painful. And that's why it's called a sacrifice. That's why, you know, you're making an offering. And they're asking you to do this today. This is your path to abundance. I hope it helps. And I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye-bye.